Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
B16 at the time. Depressed, my best friend was just killed in a motorcycle accident the last month. Live near an elementary school. Summer at night. Go over to the school. It has a basketball hoop on the back inlet section of the school building. Shooting some baskets by myself. Thinking about my friend. Decide to yell out loud that I wished he hadn't been so stupid. A pebble lands near me. Bings off the ground at my feet. Look around. No one. Shoot a couple more times. Stand there a second. A pebble hits near me again. And another one. But this time I see it coming. It comes from the direction of the goal, which is on the side of the building. The building is about 3 stories tall. Just brick on this side. The pebble came from goal height. No way to get on the roof from outside. Look around the sides of the building. Get ready to shoot some more. Like 3 or 4 pebbles hit the ground around me. Nope.wps. Get out of there.
Roughly 10 years old. Moved into this tiny shit brick house in Wayne County, Michigan. Little shit place. Kitchen with a bedroom attached to it. Living room, bathroom, then 2 bedrooms. My sister, about a year older than me, lives in the bedroom off the kitchen. She has the attic ladder stairs pull-out thing. About 2 weeks after we move in, one night, T, what I'm gonna call my sister, runs down the hall screaming. There's a woman in my closet.png. Parents are like, what? Go in there, the closet is closed. Nothing out of order. That morning, part of the kitchen floor is dented. Parents freak out, call the landlords. Nothing else happens for some time. That was weird, right? A few weeks later, my sister wakes up screaming again. Parents run into the room. Oh shit. Centipedes everywhere. Like fucking hundreds of them. All on my older sister. We spend like 5 minutes clearing them off of her. After we brush them off, they just disappear. She freaks out and starts sleeping in our parents' bed. About a week later, no sight of bugs. She starts sleeping in her room again. Things quiet down for some time. About a month later, T calls me into her room. What, I'm sleepy. .css. She's like, do you hear that? Listen in towards the closet door. Very quiet, low wood creaking sound, almost like breathing. I'm like, let's go sleep in my bed tonight. We sleep in my room that night. T doesn't really sleep. That morning, the grout in the slight indent in the kitchen tile was dark brown and cracking. For the next couple of days, T sleeps in my room. Parents are like, you get in your room, little kid. The next couple of days are fine. T comes into my room and gets in bed with me. I'm like, what's up? She goes, the closet is too loud, and keeps waking me up. That morning, the tile grout is cracking and coming up in pieces. The next few days, T sleeps in her own room. The indent starts getting really low. Worse and worse every morning. T just starts acting different. Bad grades in school, doesn't talk, play video or nothing. Gray tiles start turning brown. Happens over a period of a month or 2. After a bit, the crater in our kitchen that those assholes won't fix is huge and starts forming a crack in the center where 2 tiles meet. That night I can't sleep because I hear T talking to someone. That morning, almost all the tiles in the floor have started turning brown. I'm like, T, who are you talking to? The old lady who is in my closet keeps asking me to open it and let her out. Parents decide to pull up the floor themselves. Bill the assholes for it later. Dad goes at it with a jackhammer and a blowtorch. His hands are covered in sores and boils and shit from all that labor. Under the tile, there was a wood floor, cracked where it was caving in. Pulls up the wood floor. Another one under it. Pulls it up too to get at the crack in the floor. Concrete underneath, but not regular. This shit was goopy and black. Under all that concrete was the wood subfloor. Where the crater was, a giant hole filled with brown slime, smelled absolutely rank. So bad we have to leave the house. The assholes finally do something. Send a few guys to clean it up. They wash all the subfloor and leave it as is. Don't fix the hole or nothing. We come back still pissed about the hole like a foot deep. There isn't a step from the kitchen to the living room anymore. That day goes normal enough. T not so happy about going to sleep in her room that night. Over the next few days, she is quite fucked up. One random morning on a Saturday or something, 'cause we didn't go to school. T is crying in her cereal. Parents are gone. I'm like, yo, what's wrong? The woman left my closet. She stands at the foot of my bed and says she loves me. She needs me. Other random spooky shit. Mom and Dad don't believe me. I told them more than once. The next couple of days, T is distraught. One night, T walks into my room and stands there. I wasn't asleep, and eventually ask her what's going on. She's like, come sleep in my room. I look up to this girl like an older sister or something, so I do it. I go to T's room and get into her bed. About 5 minutes in, the closet door slowly swings open. A woman in a white and brown dress walks out and stands at the edge of the bed. Wideawake.gov. She says shit like, "You're so pretty, honey. Why won't you come with me and meet my friends? They would love to meet you and insert my name in here." Oh shit, I'm freaked out. This goes on until the sun starts coming up. She starts getting really upset, saying shit like, "Get into the closet before the sun comes up." Didn't sleep a wink. The next morning, we go and tell Mom and Dad what happened. They are pretty creeped out, but they gotta keep a cool head. That night, they are like debriefing her that she's gonna try to sleep in her bed. She walks into her room, and parents watch. She walks into her room, stands there for a second, and runs out tears streaming down her face. Parents are like, "You can sleep with us tonight." As they turn around, the closet door shoots open, and the attic stairs slam down. They keep a cool head, cold sweating and gone white and shit. They walk her and me to their bedroom and we go to sleep. Dad sits in a chair all night. The oil barons have replaced the tile in the floor a few days later. The next morning we go to church and talk to our priest. He comes to our house that night. Starts burning a bundle of sage, Gregorian chanting. Tons of time around the house. He goes into T's room. Eyes shoot open and he stops. He looks around. Walks right over to the closet. Opens it. Holy shit, get the children back. .mpg. He starts chanting again, but starts like choking. He stays in there until the sage burns out. As soon as it does, the tile cracks and falls in. He pulls the wallpaper off the wall. The wall is black and has green sigils all over it. He freaks out and walks us out of the house. I have never been more scared and confused in my life. My sister confirms the story. I ended up getting a cup of coffee with my priest about 10 years later, and we laugh and have a good time. I tell him I don't share the faith anymore. He says, "That's fine. We're all God's children. He's not going to get mad at you for not believing in him." I ask him about what happened in that house. Father goes, "That was the scariest shit I have ever seen in my life." We sit there in silence for a minute. He checks his watch and heads back.
There are rational explanations for most of my stories, save for one. Sheppard Air Force Base is haunted. Since it was opened in 1941, it has been the site of numerous assaults, murders, and other such unfortunate happenings. In locked rooms with no ventilation, the senior staff, the guys who have been there since Vietnam, will tell you that there is something secret hidden in plain sight on base. I never figured it out. I was too busy with my studies to care, but it does set the tone. It's no secret that the Air Force has been covering up tragedies that occurred during the training process for quite some time, and many of them only came to light with the Lackland sexual assault scandal. But what they still keep quiet about are the self-terminations. A lot of the training process is teaching you to do your work perfectly, which makes sense. Depending on your airframe, 30-odd lives hang on you doing your job correctly. So from the very beginning, we're taught to do everything perfectly and to accept nothing less. Many of the kids, and they were just kids, couldn't handle the stress of that, coupled with being so far from home for the first time and being thrust quite deeply into huge responsibilities. They would hang themselves, cut themselves in the showers, run a hose through their car windows, if they had cars, only a handful at a time did, and take fistfuls of pills. All it meant to the largely transient population of the base was that there was one less face in the ever-changing crowd of people that gathered every morning. Strange things happened in the dormitories we lived in, and it was shrugged off. It was nothing. Don't worry about it. Heavy breathing in empty rooms was written off as a poorly constructed HVAC system built by the lowest bidder. Deep, loud rumblings were written off as the heating system being faulty, even in maintenance areas far from any kind of central heating. Large amounts of sound induce all kinds of crazy vibrations. Don't think about it too much. Strange stories circulated around the rumor mill, and while I don't have access to the records of which rooms had housed those who had taken their own lives, some of the people who had been stuck there for a while, medical reasons mostly, were able to confirm what many of us suspected. Many unexplainable occurrences took place in those rooms. I myself was moved into one shortly after I had swapped shifts, and in my new room I never really felt at ease. Despite being the same layout, same furniture, same dimensions as my old one, it felt off in a way I couldn't explain. I wrote it off at the time as simply being spooked by knowing that someone had died in my shower. But several times a week in my locked room that I was the only inhabitant of, I would get up and make my bed. I would go to the sink to shave, and when I turned back around to get my uniform on, the room was destroyed without a sound. Mattress thrown across the room, chairs taken apart, desk upside down, the works. I wasn't the only one either. Another individual woke up on the roof without any of the security cameras seeing him get there. Sometimes on the cameras you'd see the same person walk by 5 or 6 times going the same direction, despite there being no way for them to loop around. None of this is ever acknowledged by the non-commissioned officers in charge of the building, but if you ask the instructors, they'll believe you. Probably because they went through the same thing, while the non-commissioned officers are all bus drivers. Some of them say it followed them to the new buildings. I just think that the new buildings have had enough happen in them to grow their own phenomena.
Be me. Don't recall the age. Visiting Yeo House National Historic Site, Pay Canada, PIC related. With the tour group in the kitchen area, a heavy about 3-inch thick wooden door slams shut, visibly spooking multiple people. Tour guide jokingly, "Oh, that's just our resident ghost. We call him the man upstairs." That's not the spooky bit. Later. Tour group watching a demonstration of the use of a spinning wheel, exactly as boring as it sounds. Slip off, explore more of the house. Find a roped-off staircase marked employees only. Fuck it. Slip under the rope, go upstairs. Short hallway leading to more stairs, very steep, almost more like a ladder. Climb these. Find myself in a tower room, as visible in PIC related. Extremely chilly despite it being almost 30 degrees outside. Look out the windows for a while, but get uneasy and go to leave. On my way back down the steep stairwell, strong push in the small of my back, would have gone head over heels if I hadn't been holding onto the handrail. Nope levels approaching maximum. Return to the tour group at maximum appropriate speed. Later still. Pass what is apparently a staff break room. 2 people in period dress with cups of probably coffee. 1 staff member. The man upstairs seems unusually pissed off in the last hour or so. You didn't go upstairs, did you? Second staff member. Nope. Me in head. Nope is right, bro. Years later, browsing a list of allegedly haunted locations in North America. Yeo House. Retroactive advancement of nope.
Last year working as an events organizer in Oregon. Get asked to assist in a sports tournament in Minnesota. The company sends me a car to drive 30 hours in. Yay. Start the journey late on a Sunday. Make it as far as Montana before rooming at an old friend's place. Just like old times with drinks and games. Actually glad I had to drive. Before I leave late Tuesday, I procrastinated. He tells me the fastest way through North Dakota so I can catch up on time. Montana is cool for about 3 hours until it's a flat, boring, and yellowy wasteland. 8 more hours, and finally, it's a dark, flat, and boring wasteland. It's so late my eyes are playing tricks on me, and I see shadows moving across the road. Tired, but I was supposed to be driving all day, so I keep going. At least until the next town. A sign says I'm pretty much 2.5 hours from everything at this point though, so by then I'll see the sun. Staring blankly at the shadows while listening to a weird radio station I didn't fully recall turning on, I see something in the distance. It's a guy running, a big guy, close to 7 feet tall at least. He's white as a ghost, flailing his seemingly wounded arms above his head, as if he was left behind. There's a dark shirt with an odd pattern on it, and he's got black stringy hair. I wanted to stop and ask if I could help, but I was so exhausted, so I called the police to see if they could find him and help him. I find a hotel room that night, and get a call the next morning from the highway patrol, asking exactly what I saw. I told them, and all they said was that it was good I called. Picking up people on those highways can be dangerous. I asked if they found him and they said no, but that some other poor soul always does.
Be me. Be an Uber driver. There's a concert and festival thing in town, so I figure I can pull a one-nighter and get some easy money thrown my way taking drunk people home. 3 a.m. See someone needs a ride. On the map, it's a couple miles down the road from the concert, no biggie. Figure someone just walked the wrong way or something. A few minutes later, I pull up in the indicated spot. Empty rest stop except for an old truck. Honk my horn. Nobody. Honk again. Nobody. What the hell? Get out and say, "Hey, anyone in there?" Start approaching the truck. Figured out someone had the truck die on them and had called the ride but then fallen asleep inside the truck, about 10 feet away from the truck. Loud grunt from under the truck. Sound of an animal puffing steam out of its nose. Oh shit, it's a bear. Stop dead in my tracks. Nope, 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 nope. Exactly my face when I hear it shuffling and moving. Pull out my gun. It's a measly Walther PPK and 380. Won't do shit to a bear. More animal grunt and puff sounds. The whole goddamn truck shaking from one side to the other as whatever is underneath it starts moving out. Yellow eyes staring at me in the darkness under the truck. All my strength not to bolt to the car. It resumes crawling and moving, and I sense it crawled out under the back of the car. It's standing on its hind legs. 9 feet in the air. Yellow, goddamn glowing eyes, straight out of a creep thread looking at me. I can't see what it is, but it looks a lot like a bear. But bears don't have yellow eyes that glow in the dark. Raise my gun. How about this, bud? You do you and I do me and I get the fuck out of here and we don't make an issue out of this. It's still staring. I slowly back away. It doesn't move. Get into my car. calmly make a turn and pull out onto the road. Once I hit the highway, I floor it. 140 miles per hour until home. Get in. Lock all doors.
Second time I've ever been to /x/, but I'll bite. Be me 22, doing volunteer work. Work as a curator assistant at a local military museum. The buildings they own are scattered among a university. Helping this woman document items in the oldest building. An old white house in the middle of a modern campus, next to dorms. The building is always cold, even in the summer, albeit it sits in shadow. Learn the building was used to house sick children in the early 1900s. Before that, the house was used for surgery during various battles with Indians. After this point, I can't tell if the lady I was working with was fucking with me. Antiques we catalog are showing up in different rooms, including the middle room, which we didn't go in because the floor wasn't safe. The middle room had a fire in it. Walls are burned. We never go in there. It had a weird vibe that nobody ever talked about. I could tell everyone felt these vibes, though. Eventually, we catalog everything that isn't in the cellar or the middle room. Have to navigate the middle room not to step on the burnt floor. The non-burnt floor follows a worm-like pattern on the ground, twists and turns in an unnatural fashion. One of the other guys who helps around is a firefighter. Says he has never seen a burn pattern like this. The walls are covered in greenish liquid that doesn't seem to originate anywhere. In the corner, there is a cabinet with a bunch of dolls in it. Weird porcelain ones. Nope. When we go down into the cellar, there are animal bones everywhere. Nope. The next day, I tell the curator that I will not work in that building. He chuckles and says that he doesn't go in there either. He asks me what I thought of the taxidermy in the middle room. I tell him we didn't see any. He thinks we are messing with him. When she comes back, and she also says there is no taxidermy in the house, he looks visibly concerned. Go back to giving tours, working the cash register and cataloging donations. That place still creeps me out when I occasionally walk by it to get to a class.
My mom is a medium. I have some stories. Be me. Like 15 or some shit, I'm not sure. Chilling at the house playing video. My door is open. It leads to the corridor. A shadow in the corridor moves. Nope. .jpg. Close the door. End up forgetting it and going to sleep. Wake up the next day. Hey mom, funny thing happened yesterday. I got super scared by a shadow in my corridor. Isn't that funny? Ha 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 ha. Oh, don't worry, sweetie. He isn't evil. I think he comes to protect us when your dad is traveling. Mom, I know you think this is comforting. You're wrong, though. She explains that she sees that shadow and spirit constantly, but she's sure he's a good guy because he always flees to the room with our Catholic statues, and an evil spirit wouldn't be able to do so, still spooked. Story 2. Be me again, like 10 or something this time. Chilling at home again. Decide to go to the bathroom. Hear a child saying, "I want my ball." Not like a voice in the street, a faint voice in my room, distant yet close. A little nope.jpg. End up shrugging it off. Tell it to mom. A week later, she comes to me and says, "Hey, remember that kid calling for the ball? I think he appeared at the Spiritism Center today. He said he became lost because he went home looking for his ball." God damn it, Mom, seriously, this isn't helping. Be mom. Well, not really, but you get it. She decides to go to the graveyard to visit the graves of her relatives because that's what normies do. While she's there praying, a guy approaches her, desperate. "Ma'am, you gotta help me. That guy on the gate don't want to let me leave. I need to go back to my family. There is no one at the gate. I wish I could tell you more about this story, but she never told me beyond that. I think she just lost the guy after realizing he was dead and there was very little she could do for him. Another, be Mom. Mom as a child, in fact. When she goes to sleep, she sees blood flowing down the wall of her room. This happens more than once. Eventually learns that the past owner of the house had a child with terminal cancer who vomited blood on that wall before dying. And my favorite, be Mom. Pregnant with yours truly, sleeping at her mother's house, has this weird-ass dream where a burning man gets in the room through the window and starts caressing her face lovingly. Wakes up with first-degree burns in her face, like sunburn. She eventually learned that he was a guy from a past life who loved her too much and they both died in a fire or some shit like that. And he never let go.
I have only one nope-ish story. It's nothing paranormal, but be me. Around 2 weeks ago, about to spend the third night in our new house. Comfy in bed, browsing on the internet, talking with friends online. Just doing stuff. It's just past midnight. The bell rings. Take off my earphones and wait a bit to see if it rings again. It does. My little sister comes to warn me the bell woke her up. It rings again while I get up to wake up my father in the other room. My other sister comes too, telling me she's afraid to check the door. We're not used to late-night visitors midweek. Whoever's outside claps to call our attention, maybe thinking the bell isn't working. Wakes up Dad. Dad looks outside. No one is there. The car gate is wide open. Dad wakes up his wife. She swears she closed the gate when she got home. My sister confirms. We go down and close the gate. We checked the whole house. No one was outside. Our cat was fine and tranquil, and everything was still locked. Still, when we woke up the next morning, the gate was open again. It had happened earlier and the other day too, but at the time we thought we just forgot to close it. We changed the locks, and it stopped happening. In the same house, tiny, nope, on the next day. Talking to my mother-in-law in front of the house before she goes to work. She leaves. I go back inside. Hear knocks on the door in the exact instant I walk through it. No one's around. Could just be me hearing things, though.
Happened back when I was a kid. Be sitting at the computer in my room doing some homework or surfing the net. My room was set up like an office, bed right next to the door, desk facing the door, which leads down a hallway with 2 other rooms to the right. When I was sitting at my desk with my door open, I could see directly down the hallway. The 2 rooms to the right are, in this order, a guest room that we just used to store shit we had nowhere else to put, and my mom's bedroom. To the right near my own door, and facing the guest room door, there were the stairs leading down. Sometimes I'd be sitting there, doing my stuff, most importantly, looking at my computer screen while the hallway stood in the background. While watching the screen, I see my mom flash across my door, crossing from the guest room to the stairs, wondering to myself why she was in such a hurry. "Mom?" She pokes her head out in the hallway. From her bedroom, down the hallway. The person I had seen had booked across from the guest room to the stairs, not to the bedroom, hair standing up on the back of my head. "What is it, hun?" Big Mama says. "Did you just cross in front of my door?" "No, honey, I was sleeping." Sweating cold now. "Mom, there's someone in the house." We both go to the edge of the stairs. The basement door, standing half open, slammed shut with a bang. We both noped collectively. Mom rushed and locked the basement door. Had to wait 2 hours for my dad to get home and kick down the basement door, shotgun in hand. Nobody in there. There were no windows in the basement.
Used to know a friend whose mom used to be a landlord, and she had a pretty freaky experience. Creepy person moves into the house. Obviously batshit crazy, but her money is legit, so don't really care. After a while, she can't afford to pay the rent. Try to kick her out. Gets really pissy and difficult. Have to call the police to escort her off of the property. Go into her room on the 2nd story. First off, the place is a shithole. Only dirty clothes and a mattress in the entire place. But occult shit drawn all over the walls and what we're hoping and assuming is red paint. We clean it all off of the walls and don't really think about it for a while. But then, over at my friend's house again, watching Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. Get up to go get some food and drinks. The kitchen that they had was on the other side of the house, and their living room was on the front side of the house. They also had windows looking out towards the front yard. Walking back from the kitchen with food. The batshit crazy chick is just sitting on the huge porch, staring at my friends as they watch the movie. They're faced away from the front. Yell, "Tell my friends that she's there." When everyone turns around, she ducks and bolts. After that, I don't hear about anything for a while. The property my friend lived in with their mom was actually owned by the mom's sister, and because of a dispute they had to move. But they only moved like 2 doors down. One day out with the same friends. Apparently the mom has been seeing the crazy bitch stalking around the neighborhood. Call the cops each time, but she's gone before they get here. The mom buys a gun and a taser. Life seems pretty alright for a while. Skating with said friends, notice firefighters down the road. The old house that the crazy bitch had lived in for a while, the one that was rented out to her that she got kicked out of, was on fire. Ask the firefighters what happened. They can't tell what started the fire. It's seriously still freaky to me to this day. We have no idea where this lady is now, but she isn't stalking my friend or his mom anymore, seeing as they moved 2 hours away. I'd like to imagine that a lot of these aren't connected, but it's kind of hard to say that they're not.
This reminds me of the psycho who lived next door to my girlfriend. She would be up all night chanting all sorts of demonic shit and throwing things around the house. Paper-thin walls meant my girlfriend heard everything. Once she was mumbling on that she wanted to kill another neighbor with a knife. Police couldn't do anything as she hadn't caused a crime yet, but told my girlfriend to record any sounds. I don't have them, so can't post them. One night I heard a noise about 4 a.m., came downstairs and found her trying to get into the house. Police still wouldn't do anything. They didn't do anything until she nearly killed a guy over the road by attacking him with an iron. She's now locked up in a nut house somewhere in Durham.
Be me, 17, sleeping in my room. Have one of those dreams where you think you wake up. Nothing out of the ordinary, still laying in bed, room is the same. I think I'm actually awake. Look over to the mirror on the wall in the corner of the room. Something in the mirror. Fucking black demonic thing hanging upside down from my ceiling staring at me. Too scared to move. Spookiest staring contest ever. Thing spreads its arms and wings to reveal itself. Looks like a giant humanoid bat with the face of that red fucker from Insidious, just staring directly into my eyes. Finally wake up. Feel like I can't breathe. The mirror is the first thing I see when I open my eyes. Overwhelming sense of something watching me. Momentarily paralyzed with fear. hide under the blanket and proceed to nope. Still hate that fucking mirror.
Well, Anons, you have inspired me. When I finally kick the bucket, I will come back as a ghost and troll people. I will hide their socks, one from each pair. I will hide their shoes. Max out the volume on the TV at random, and start opening Notepad on the computer and make it start typing random shit. But when they need something in the house fixed, I will be a bro and pull up repair solutions from the interwebs pertaining to their needs. Also, I will replace every song in their iTunes with Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley, and occasionally set their homepage to meat spin. If they have daughters, I will embarrass their boyfriend if I don't like him. If their son becomes a weed head, I will appear to him while he is high and explain myself, apologize, and share sage life lessons and advice. And I will chase the cat around the house at 3 a.m.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.